Great. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the session. I hope all of you are doing well. Um, I'll begin with introducing myself. So, I'm Abhishek Parikh. I'm a deputy director at Skill Arbitrage, and I've helped over 5,000 professionals upskill their career remotely. And I'm being joined by Samriddhi. Samriddhi, would you like to quickly introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. So, my name is Samriddhi Kaur, and I am working here as a trainer at Skill Arbitrage directly with the founder's office.
Great. So, guys, as you know, we have a set of boot camps which we will be starting. A set of 3 days of boot camp which we'll be starting from tomorrow. But this is a precursor to those sessions. Before we begin with our boot camp, we just wanted to come here and chat with you guys and address any questions that you might have with respect to the boot camp. But before we do that, I would like to set up the context for what we are going to be doing across the 3 days and why is it that we are doing it, what is the requirement, right? So um, I let you know what is the opportunity. The thing is that in right now in 2026, India is sitting on one of the biggest career opportunities for specifically for experienced professionals and people who are on the verge of retirement, and most people have no idea about this, and that's why we are conducting this boot camp to educate more and more people about this opportunity, right? So what we're talking about are high value roles outside of your day job, right? And whatever we are going to be talking about across the 3 days is something that you can do over and above your daily commitments, whatever it is that you might be doing currently with respect to your careers, your job, right? So we are talking about independent director roles. With respect to listed as well as unlisted companies, there are specific companies in India who need independent directors, right? So we will be talking about what really independent directors are, what are the opportunities like, how much can they earn. All of that is something that we will be talking about. But before you go ahead and attain ID positions, there are certain things, certain positions that you can hold, certain opportunities that you can grab, such as advisory positions across NGOs and other businesses, leadership positions in industry associations. And the thing is that all of these compound and they can lead you to ID positions as well, right? So once you advise two startups, for instance, and sit on an association panel, your odds of landing your first ID seat go way up, right? And the scale is huge. Like I said, this is something which is a massive opportunity because it's fairly unsaturated as we speak, which is something which is a very rare thing to come across in India. We know we are a very populous country, and so we see for every opportunity there are so many people competing, but this is something which is fairly unsaturated as we speak at this point of time, right? India has more than 7,500 listed companies, and with large unlisted public companies also, there is a requirement that basically 40 to 50,000 firms are legally required to appoint IDs, right? As we speak, this is the requirement. These are the seats which need to be fulfilled. India saw 300 plus IPOs in 2025, and there will be over 1,000 happening in the coming 2 years. So all of these companies will need independent directors. On top of that, a wave of ID appointments in 2016 is now also going to be retiring after 2 terms. All of this we will give you a lot of context of across the 3 days, right? The money is also something which is real. India's top IDs, do you know, earn 3 to 6 crores a year. And that's something which is the ceiling. But even at entry level, if you serve boards of 4 to 5 SMEs, you can earn easily 20 lakh plus annually, which will be over and above whatever it is that you're currently doing. Remember, these positions will not hamper with your current work. This is something that you can take up on the side, right? This is essentially part-time work. And whatever I'm talking about is not theoretical. We have actual real examples of people who we will share with you. We will even invite some people who will come and talk about their experiences, their journeys of becoming independent directors, right? Some examples that I would like to give you. We will again share very detailed case studies of these people with you in the boot camp. But we have Steve Pereira, who with 20 plus of years in experience in hospitality, he's now on two boards. We have Sanjay Roy, 36 years of experience in Navy and zero corporate background, by the way. He is serving now on the board of Sashi Rome. We have Suman Chaudhary, who's an agricultural consultant. She's now an ID at Zepfresh, which is an agri-tech company. We have Vivek Talmale, 30 years of operations consultant, experience in Nagpur, now serving on the board of Cashew Drive. We have Hani Panmani with 12 years of experience, already an ID at Stembro, right? We have Dharitri Panda, sorry, 36 years of experience in civil accounts service. And she's again serving on boards right now. We have Sunil Agarwal, who's 67 years of age, by the way. He's an ex-IRS commissioner and he's serving on the board of Moms Belief. We have more such examples. We will be sharing all of these examples with you in the boot camp. Let's look at what's the plan. How do your 3 days, what is it that we are going to be sharing across the 3 days? So on day one, we will explore the opportunity. What really is the opportunity? Who really is an independent director to begin with, right? What is the eligibility criteria? What are the earnings, right? What are the specific risks, if at all, right? How the IIC exam works. So there is an exam which you have to give, which is a very simple basic exam, that is conducted by IICA, and it is something which one can easily pass with studying for, let's say, 1 to 2 hours for 3 to 5 months, and that's all it takes. It's a completely MCQ examination with 50 questions. We'll show you, in fact, how easy it is to prepare for that exam, right? On day two, we will talk about certain advanced strategies. We will also, by the way, share a 6 months roadmap, step by step roadmap, which you can follow in order to secure ID positions. This is a plan which has worked out for many people. In fact, the examples that I was just giving to you a while ago, all of these people have also used this 6 months roadmap in order to attain ID positions, and they've been able to successfully do so by the help of this plan. We will also share a very powerful strategy called the Brahmastra, which helps you network with businesses, with merchant bankers, and also, again, in turn, attain opportunities for yourselves with respect to ID or be it advisory positions, right? We'll also tell you how you can deliver a TEDx talk, which is the crown jewel of personal branding. So we will be talking about personal branding in a lot of detail across the 3 days, because personal branding is very, very important when it comes to not just independent director positions, but in order to again put yourself out there or get better opportunities, in order to be able to rub shoulders with people who will again impact your life in a very, very positive manner. You should have a personal brand for yourself. So we will tell you how you can attain that personal brand, how you can create that personal brand that speaks for you, right? We will also talk about how you can land again advisory roles, how you can introduce SMEs to merchant bankers. All of these are the things that we will be talking about on day two. And day three will be very, very skill packed. So we'll have a lot of skills across the 3 days, especially on day three, that we will unpack, that we will show you, right? We'll tell you how you can network with CFOs and company secretaries, how you can spot IPO worthy companies in your network, how you can get a book published. Yes, this is something that a lot of people have been able to do, and we will show you how you can get a book published in your specific area, in your specific niche. You might think that this is something which is unattainable, undoable as of right now, but we'll show you how easy it is once you follow a specific strategy, and how you can handle your first board meeting also with confidence. What exactly is it that a board meeting consists of once you become an independent director, and how you can deal with it. And there is much more. This is just a gist of what we will be talking about across 3 days, but there'll be much more that we are going to be talking about. Is am I audible and visible?
Yeah, yeah,
Noshina,
it's fine.
Samriddhi, could you
It's
please
fine. It's fine.
all right. Okay. So with that, this is the context that we needed to set. And now let's take your questions, right? So let me just go ahead and look at what your questions might be. Okay, Dilip is telling us that he's going to be retiring soon, and as general manager of projects, and he's looking forward for an opportunity. That is great. We will, it would be great to have you across the 3 days, Dilip. We'll share some incredible insights, and we promise you that this is something which is going to be very, very insightful, right? So we'll make it worth your while. Nilesh is saying it's not easy as described. Don't worry about it, Nilesh. Just come to the boot camp. We will tell you what to do step by step. Okay? You only have to do one thing at a time. What you have to be doing right now is just coming to the boot camp for 3 days, right? Just attend the first day to begin with. Okay, that's it. That's all that we ask right now, and then you will be able to decide for yourself. Um, what else? Let me just see if we have more questions. Uh, Okay, so Gaurav is saying exam is not required for lawyers as they are exempted. Then why a lawyer should appear in exam? Please elaborate on this. Okay, so this is something that again we will be dealing with through and through in the session itself. But to give you a taste of it, a gist of it, the thing is that even though there are certain categories of people who are exempt from giving the IIC exam, we still highly recommend that you sit for the exam. Why? Because when companies hire you as independent directors, when companies are looking for people to be appointed as independent directors, they won't care whether you were exempt or not. Clearing an exam, having cleared the exam, is a very strong signal of you understanding corporate governance, which basically is asked in the exam. So companies, what they do is they won't care about whether you're exempt or not. They will still would like to see this tag that okay, this person has cleared the IIC exam. And the exam is firstly very cheap. It's not something which costs a lot of money. It is very convenient also. It is something which is not difficult to pass. So it makes not a lot of sense to again sabotage your chances of becoming an independent director just for the sake of being exempted. Okay, so that's why we strongly recommend everyone, whether even if you're exempt from it, we recommend that you give the IICA independent director exam. It is not something which is difficult, so why diminish your chances of securing an ID role for an exam which you could have sat for to begin with, which was not very difficult. All right, so that's that. um, I'm from a deeply technical operational background. Do corporate boards even want me? Says Rushi. I'm not sure what your name is, but that's what your username says. So the thing is that there is a seat for everyone across the board. There's a seat for everyone. No, doesn't matter which niche you belong with, what specific work you've done, what experience you have. There is a requirement for everyone on the board. You just have to create that kind of visibility for yourself, right? When you say you're from a technical background, all the businesses today are in some or the other way doing something which would require people from technical backgrounds, right? For instance, just giving an example, uh, every business has an app today, right? Every business is understanding how to, for instance, use AI for their operations, right? For all of these things, they will need people who understand technicalities, right? So think you can also just think or apply this to your specific niche. And it's not just about people from technical background. Firstly, it's not even the thing that people who belong to a specific field, you have to be belonging to a specific niche in order to be appointed. You can create your own niche as well, and that is, for instance, if you belong to a specific area which you might feel is something which is very, very again a niche area, you can always build your visibility in an area which you think could be used by boards across whatever company that we might be talking about. This is something that we again will be touching in the boot camp, so do not worry. But for now, what I want you to again not think is that you belong to a specific niche and boards do not, or do not have your requirement. We will share examples of people who've been, again, who belong to very specific niches. For instance, I just shared an example of a person who was from navy background, and then this person ended up getting appointed for something by a particular company which had gotten nothing to do with navy or nothing to do with his direct experience, right? So that is not, it is not the case that only your specific experience can be leveraged by the boards. You have to get started in a specific direction, and once you do that, you will be able to find that there is something or the other valuable which you can provide to the boards, right? So don't let this be something which kind of stops you from taking action, right? um okay, let's see what more questions we have. The opportunities, again, Ashavari, the same example, this the same thing I'll say to you as well, that again, you have to, there is always some or the other opportunity, or some or the other business that can use your specific experience or the niche that you created for yourself. You are saying you're a business coach, so many businesses, small businesses, can use your help. I mean, it should not be very difficult for you at all, right? You could mentor them. That is what you can start with. We will also share strategies of you starting out, right? And once you start building your personal brand, there are so many more opportunities that you will come across. It will in fact not just be about you securing ID positions. Even with respect to your current positions, you will see that there is so much benefit that you can get because you've created that visibility for yourself, right? Okay, more questions. Ashavari, I just took your question. I hope that clears it. But when Ministry of Corporate Affairs is exempting, then why adding one more certificate of ICA? Because ICA itself is exempting. That's why I asked this query, Gaurav. So I just answered your question. I hope that it suffices. And don't worry, we will get deeper into it in the bootcamp. Whatever we are talking about today, whatever your questions are, we will be addressing all of that. We have already taken all of that into consideration in the bootcamp. So don't worry. Today I'm just over here giving you gist of things. But remember, we have the bootcamp for 3 days for a period of 9 hours over 3 days. So there we are going to go into a lot of detail with respect to everything, right? Rushi, you're asking, will you actually help in getting placed, or is this just theory? Whatever we are talking about, none of it is just theory. We will share actual examples of people, of opportunities, of, again, we'll show you how there is a gap also. We'll calculate it live tomorrow, wherein I'll show you how there is this massive gap which exists today, which needs to be filled by people who can become independent directors, right? None of it would just be theory. I'm sharing examples of people who've been able to do it. We'll share more examples of people who've been able to do it. So don't worry, we will not just be giving you theory of anything. All right. Any more questions that anybody has? Any questions before we close? Okay, very good question. What can a first time ID realistically expect to earn? Firstly, since the gap is so massive, the thing is that since the gap is so massive, there is there are mostly, I'll share with you the data tomorrow. Mostly the people who are being appointed as independent directors are first timers, are doing it for the very first time, right? Because the gap is so massive, no company can actually afford and afford second time independent directors or people who have already done that, because the demand is so high, right? Over 60% of people who are being appointed as independent directors every year are first timers, firstly. Secondly, coming to your question, your specific question, how much can you realistically expect? So it is something, basically, independent directors are paid per meeting, on per meeting basis, right? um, you can easily expect to earn 30 to 50,000 rupees when you're starting out as an independent director. 30,000 is in fact on the lower side. 50,000 is also a very realistic explanation, expectation. But when you are, let's say, starting with a very small business, they would still, in some cases, they might need to have independent directors on their board. In such cases, you can start off with 30,000 also. 30,000 for a meeting which would last for half an hour or 1 hour, right? At max. 15 to 20 meetings per year. That is what we are talking about, right? So that's something which you can expect realistically. But once you start out, once you get more experience, once you start serving on the board of one particular business, then of course, sky is the limit, right? SEBI, as per SEBI, you can serve on the boards of up to 7 companies at a time, right? Even if seven might be a lot, 3 to 4 companies you can easily serve on the boards of in one go, right? And by that, that's how we say that you can easily comfortably earn up to 20 lakhs of additional income per year just when you're starting out, right? I've already told you how much the top, basically, the most amount of money that independent directors are earning is, somewhere close to 3 to 6 crores per year, right? But as starting out, 20 lakhs is something which is realistic. All right. Okay, so Rajiv, yes, there, like I said, there are opportunities. Again, this is for everyone. Remember, whichever field you belong with, don't make yourself feel that independent director positions are not for you, that there'll be no board who'd be looking to, use your specific expertise. You have to create that visibility for yourself. You have to basically work on your personal brand in such a way that you again become indispensable, that you have the kind of authority, the kind of understanding that could be utilized by boards, right? That is what one has to be looking for. So no matter what your experiences, you can serve on boards. This is, again, we have so many examples of people who've been able to do that. So you can as well. Don't let this limit yourself, right? And so once you start working in this direction, you will come across companies who you can help out. But the first thing is that you have to get started. What additional qualification needed beside my MA in economics to become an independent director? So Parimal, sorry, you basically need to clear the IIC exam, and that's about it. Over and above that, it's not about qualification, but certain other things that you have to do. Just clearing the IIC exam is not going to cut it. Okay, it's not going to be enough. Just clearing the IIC exam, I'll show you examples. um, uh, what happens is that a lot of people, what they do is that they clear the IIC exam and then they sit. Their name is entered on the database, and then they think that somebody will just call them up and ask them to serve on their boards. But that doesn't happen. You have to create that visibility for yourself. You have to create a personal brand for yourself, right? You have to network with the right people. These are two things which you have to do additionally over and above just clearing the exam, right? So both of these things we will get into, all three of these things will be going into a lot of detail. All right. Yeah, we, a lot of teachers, a lot of professors are getting ID positions. You know what? There is so much trust that professors, teachers build amongst their students, right? And that is something that helps them get opportunities a lot of times, right? Teachers are, they know how to communicate. They know how to verbally as well as through writing communicate in a very excellent manner. That is a very, very good skill to have, to possess, to communicate clearly, right? And that is why, and you were an alumni, you were set of people who you have helped in the past. They might go ahead and uh, launch businesses, or they might know people who you can work with, right? Again, teachers are very, very trusted people, set of people. Professors are very trusted set of people. And that is what, that is the kind of people that businesses are looking for. People who they can fall back on, people who they can trust, right? So again, there is a lot of advantage that teachers, that professors get when it comes to ID positions. Okay, so Bela is asking a very good question. Do independent directors have legal responsibility or accountability when the company is in the wrong? So this is again something which is an advantage of for independent directors. Whenever a company is involved in a certain malpractice, independent directors are generally mostly deemed to be again, the liability is not on them. Why? Because independent directors are only responsible for anything and everything that has been informed to them, told to them explicitly, right? Independent directors, there's a reason why the term is in there's this word independent associated with them, right? Because independent directors are not involved in day-to-day functionings of a particular business. So if you as an independent director do not really know about what the company's inner dealings are, if the company is involved in certain kinds of frauds or malpractices, you are not going to be liable. I am in fact going to be sharing examples of companies, of incidences wherein the companies, the board of directors was held to be liable, but the independent directors were spared. Why? Because independent directors had gotten nothing to do with it, right? So again, this is something which is fairly unfound, which is mostly unfound liabilities on independent directors. Again, something which should not hold you back from seeking such positions, because again, independent directors are not held liable for companies actions unless they were explicitly informed about that, and that is something that doesn't generally happen in board meetings, right? So again, something that people don't have to worry about while pursuing ID positions. All right. Um, all right. I think this is it. These are all the questions that we have. Um this was just a brief introductory session, guys. Like I said, we will get into a lot of detail tomorrow. We have just shared the registration link. If there is anyone who has not registered, please do so right now. I'll just let you know the timings for tomorrow and day after tomorrow. We will have the bootcamp from 2 to 5 p.m. and on Monday we'll have the bootcamp from 7 to 10 p.m. So 3 hours each day we will be sharing a lot of information, a lot of resources that you can in fact take back with you as well. And a lot of information will be shared with you across the 3 days. We promise you it is going to be a very insightful set of sessions, right? And that's it from my end. I'll see you. So this is not so Parimal and for others. There will be no recordings for these sessions. This is going to be held live. So if you miss it, you miss it. So please make sure that you attend live. All right. And we promise you we'll make it worth your while. So do come for these sessions across the 3 days. We'll see you there. And that's it. That's it from our end. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining in. I'll see you tomorrow sharp at 2. All right. Okay. This is it. Thank you. Bye. Good night.